Happy Tuesday. It is July the 29th. We are here for our daily mortgage interest rate update and what is going on with the U.S. housing market. If you are new here, my name is Chelsea Winstead. I'm a home financing strategist and a mortgage lender. My goal is to daily come on here and give you a rundown of what is going on in the market and the economy, updates, reports, things on the news, and give you an understanding of how this is going to impact not only rates, but then how home prices are often then affected by these same things. Okay, so let's go through a couple of reports that came out today. So the JOLTS report dropped today. In summary, there are fewer job openings and also people are not quitting like they used to, which is a sign that the job market is cooling off. So a couple key points. Job openings dropped by 275,000, which was lower than expected. The hiring rate fell from 3.3%. It fell to 3.3%, which is the second lowest that it's been since 2013. Excluding COVID, and the quit rate stayed really low at 2%. So people are quite nervous to switch jobs. Why this can matter for mortgage rates, the weaker the job market, the less pressure there is to raise rates. And that then from a mortgage perspective can have an implication where mortgage rates could improve because of this. So it's really kind of like, it's actually quite crap if you think about it, because basically if our economy is doing poorly, mortgage rates go down. If our economy is doing well and people are employed and people are buying lots of things, then our rates stay high. So I think there's sometimes an inverse reaction here. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when you are like begging and demanding for rates to go down, there's often a flip side as to why that is happening. So just keep that in mind. Okay, another report that came out today was the consumer confidence report. For this month, people are slightly more optimistic than last month, but still feel unsure about the jobs and the economy. Couple key points. Confidence rose from 95.2 from last month to 97.2, so a decent jump. Expectations are still below 80, which then can be a warning sign for a recession. 19% of people said jobs are hard to get. This is the highest percentage that we've seen since 2021. And why this matters for mortgage rates. So if people stay worried, the Fed may ease up on rate hikes, which then would have a better chance to potentially see lower mortgage rates. Wouldn't hold my breath on that one, but information interesting that's there. Okay. Next thing here is the appreciation data. What this means is that home prices are still going up, but just not as fast as before. Okay, so a couple key points. So Case and Shiller, prices rose, which is essentially a data metric report. So prices rose 2.3% year over year, which is down from last year, which was 2.7% for home prices. There's a couple other different reports, etc. So NYC saw a 7.4% increase year over year. Chicago saw a 6.1% increase year over year, and Detroit had a 4.9% increase year over year. These all had the biggest gains. In general, though, what we often see is slower appreciation on home values then typically means less inflation pressure, which once again makes it easier for rates to come down. So the fact that home prices are not skyrocketing year over year over year over year, which is what we had seen for multiple years in a row, because we're seeing quite a slowdown in a lot of places, this can potentially help rates come down. So again, it's quite hard for what I do for a living, because on one hand, when the economy tanks and people lose their jobs and things are really unstable, the interest rates are great. But there's an obvious direct flip to that. Whereas when the job market is strong and when people are still spending, which has the assumption that you have money to spend and, things of that nature, which would lead to believe that, the economy is still healthy, there then is not a major pressure for the federal, entities to drop rates, which then impact mortgage rates. So there's a little bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation of I don't really want to celebrate, but then also it's good to know. So if you're new here, my goal is to give you a rundown on reports that are dropped every day, tell you how that can impact rates. Also a couple new things. So I specialize on the East Coast. If you are looking to buy within a year, fun fact, just released a new free resource for those of you who are wanting to understand a little bit more about like the full journey of what home buying looks like, if you go to my profile, I've created a new little mini course that you can access and watch at your leisure. If you are looking to buy within the next 6 months, so I would say if your timeline is up to a year, I would hop in and consume the information on the mini course. I have a couple more resources coming out this week. But if you are looking to buy within the next 6 months, we are actually on a timer at this point, and we need to have a conversation. I think a lot of people don't realize how stressful home buying is when you wait to speak to somebody in the financial realm after you've talked to an agent, because in theory, if you've talked to an agent, it means you're ready to actually get started, which then means that if you're talking to a lender for the first time, when you're talking to an agent, you're going to be quite rushed and it's a little bit stressful. So if you are looking to buy or be in the home buying journey within the next 6 months, we probably should kick off and chat now. Also, link on my profile. That's the top section, which shows it's a home buying connection form. Pop in your info there. My team will text you and reach out to kick off. But again, if your timeline is further out than 6 months, I would actually recommend that you potentially hop into the mini course first, give you a full rundown of like what the process looks like step by step, and then you determine based on your timeline when you'd want to chat. All right, y'all. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow.